The radar screens at Luna Base 1 lit up with strange patterns. Joe Davis rubbed his tired eyes and leaned forward. After 5 years working on the moon, he had seen many weird things. This was different. "Hey, Linda, come look at this," he called to his shift partner. Linda Brown walked over, coffee mug in hand. She was the senior technician with gray hair and quick eyes that missed nothing. "What is it now, Joe? Another space rock?" "No. Look at the signal pattern. It's regular. Too regular for space junk." Linda put down her coffee. Her eyes widened. "Call Earth Command, now." Within hours, the signal was being studied by experts around the world. It wasn't random noise or a glitch. Someone, or something, was sending Earth a message. Dr. Alan Wright sat in his small office at the Space Agency headquarters. The walls were covered with star charts and strange symbols. At 38, Alan was the best codebreaker on the planet. He hadn't slept in 3 days. "I think I've got it," he said to Commander Susan Miller, who stood by the window looking at the night. Sky Susan turned. Her uniform was neat despite the late hour. "What does it say?" "It's strange." Alan ran his hand through his messy brown hair. "They're asking us to stay home." "What?" Alan pointed to his computer screen. "The message is from something called the Galactic Concord, a group of alien civilizations. They're asking, no, begging, humans, to stay in our solar system and not venture into deep space. Are they threatening us?" Susan's hand moved to the gun at her hip without thinking. "No, that's the weird part." Alan shook his head. "They're very polite, almost like they're scared." The next morning, President Frank Wilson sat at the head of a long table. Around him were the top minds from science, military, and government. The room was tense. "So aliens want us to stay put. Why should we listen?" asked General Paul Carter, his face red with anger. "We don't know their reasons yet," said Dr. Molly White, the lead scientist. "But a species that can send signals across galaxies could probably destroy us easily. The fact they're asking nicely might be important. Or a trick," the general shot back. President Wilson raised his hand for quiet. "Dr. Wright, what exactly did they say?" Alan cleared his throat and read from his notes. "We respectfully ask that humans remain within their current territorial boundaries. This request is made with deepest concern for galactic stability." "That's it?" asked the president. "Yes, sir. Very formal, very polite. And we have no idea why they don't want us out there?" "No, sir. They didn't explain. Maybe they've heard about our wars," suggested Sam Green, the Secretary of State. "Maybe they think we're dangerous." The debate went on for hours. Should Earth respond? What should they say? Some wanted to ignore the message. Others wanted to send spaceships right away to show humans wouldn't be pushed around. Alan and Susan were told to write a careful reply. They worked day and night on a message that was friendly but firm. "Humans were peaceful explorers," the message said. "We come in friendship. We want to learn." "Do you think they'll believe us?" Susan asked as they finished the draft. Alan looked up at the ceiling. "Would you? If you knew our history?" Before they could send their reply, the warning systems around Earth went crazy. Something was entering Earth's orbit, something that wasn't human-made. "We've got a visitor," Susan said, looking at the radar. "Looks like they got tired of waiting for our answer." The ship was small, about the size of a bus. It glowed with a soft blue light and moved like nothing made on Earth. It didn't land but hovered over the United Nations building in New York. People around the world watched on TV as a single being emerged from the ship. It floated down to the ground where a group of world leaders waited. The alien looked like a mix of octopus and jellyfish, with skin that changed colors like a mood ring. "I am Zexril," the alien said, through a small device that hung around what might be its neck. "I speak for the 17 worlds of the Galactic Concord." "Welcome to Earth," said President Wilson, stepping forward with his hand extended. He quickly dropped it when he realized the alien had no hands to shake. "We are honored by your visit." "I come with an urgent message," said Zexril. Its skin flashed with colors. "You must understand why we ask you to stay in your solar system. We're listening, said the president. My leaders feared sending me here, the alien continued. They said it was too dangerous, that humans might react badly. We mean you no harm, Susan said from her place in the background. It is not what you might do to me that worries them, replied Zexril. It is what you might do to the galaxy. The alien's colors changed to deep purple. We have watched your television broadcasts, your history programs, your action movies, Alan stepped forward. You've been spying on us? Observing, corrected Zexril, and what we have seen has terrified us. The world held its breath as the alien delivered news that would change human history forever. Humans, it seemed, were not what they thought they were, and the galaxy was not ready for them. Joe Davis, watching from his station on the moon, felt a shiver run down his spine. Whatever the alien was saying, he had a feeling nothing would ever be the same again. The room where they met Zexril was big and fancy. World leaders sat at a round table with guards standing by the walls. The alien floated slightly above a special chair made for it. Its skin kept changing from blue to green to purple. Alan Wright sat next to Susan Miller taking notes. He couldn't believe he was in the same room as an actual alien. He had dreamed of this moment since he was a little boy looking at stars. We thank you for coming in peace, said President Wilson. But we don't understand why your people fear us. We haven't even left our solar system yet. Zexril's translator made a humming sound before it spoke. That is precisely why we are here now, to explain before you do leave. The alien's body rippled like water. A screen behind it turned on, showing pictures of Earth. We have studied your planet for 200 years, Zexril said. At first, we thought you were just another world developing slowly like all others. Then we noticed something disturbing. The screen showed old black and white pictures of horse-drawn carts, then early cars, then planes, then rockets, then space stations. Most species take 5,000 years to go from simple machines to space travel. Zexril continued. You did it in less than 300 years. Sam Green, the Secretary of State, smiled proudly. We're quick learners. Too quick, said Zexril, its colors turning dark red. It's not natural. Linda Brown had been invited to the meeting because she first spotted the alien signal. She raised her hand like a schoolgirl. Is being quick such a bad thing? It is when it's paired with your other traits, the alien replied. The screen changed again, showing scenes from human history. Wars, boxing matches, mountain climbers, deep sea divers, race car drivers. No other intelligent species we know fights for fun, said Zexril. No other species willingly goes to places that could kill them. No other species runs toward danger. Joe Davis shifted in his seat. He had once run into a burning building to save a child. It had seemed like the only thing to do at the time. That's just being human, he said quietly. Exactly, the alien's translator crackled. That's just being human, and that terrifies us. The room was quiet. Outside, news crews from around the world waited for information. The whole planet was watching. General Paul Carter, still not trusting the alien, spoke up. So you're saying you're all cowards out there in space? Susan kicked him under the table, but Zexril seemed not to understand the insult. We are careful, it corrected. We plan. We avoid pain and death. We take centuries to make big decisions. It's how all 17 species in the Concord survived. Dr. Molly White, fascinated by what she was hearing, leaned forward. But surely evolution on your worlds created some risk takers. Of course, but not like you. Zexril's skin flickered rapidly. Let me show you something. The screen showed a video of a human firefighter carrying 2 children from a fire, then a surgeon performing a risky operation, then a person jumping between subway tracks to save a stranger. These are all from your news in just 1 week, said the alien. Do you understand how bizarre this looks to us? Your people risk death to save strangers. Even your entertainment is about putting yourselves in danger. The screen showed movie scenes. Action heroes running through gunfire, explorers facing monsters, astronauts fixing spaceships during storms. You dream about danger, said Zexril. You seek it out. Alan Wright had been quiet, but now he understood. You're not worried we'll attack you, he said slowly. You're worried we'll change everything just by being ourselves. Yes, the alien's translator sounded relieved. Your species solves problems in days that take others centuries. You take risks no one else would consider. You adapt to any situation. I still don't see the problem, said the general. Zexril's colors turned deep blue. Imagine you have a peaceful pond. Everything is in balance. Then someone drops in a creature that moves 10 times faster than anything else, eats differently, reproduces quickly, and changes its environment to suit itself. What happens to the pond? It changes, said President Wilson. Maybe not for the better. The galaxy is our pond, said Zexril. It has been stable for 50,000 years, 17 species living in careful balance. Then we found you. The alien showed one last picture. Earth, small and blue against the blackness of space. So beautiful, it said. So dangerous. What exactly do you want from us? Asked the president. To stop exploring? To pretend we're not here? We want time, said Zexril. Time to prepare for the storm that is humanity. The conquered move slowly. You move like lightning. Susan Miller stood up. As a military commander, she understood strategy. And if we refuse? If we build ships tomorrow and head for the stars? Zexril's body seemed to shrink. Then some in the Concord will panic, and frightened species sometimes do terrible things. The room felt cold suddenly. It wasn't a direct threat, but the meaning was clear. Joe Davis looked at the strange visitor from beyond the stars and wondered what it would be like to be so afraid of change. He couldn't imagine living that way. Outside the window he could see people gathering in the street, excited about the alien visitor. They weren't scared, they were curious, ready for whatever came next. That, he thought, was the real difference between humans and the aliens. The meeting with Zexril ended after 3 hours. World leaders needed time to think. The alien returned to its ship, promising to come back the next day. That night, no one in the government building slept. Too much was happening. They want us to stay in our solar system, Susan said, pacing in the small room she shared with Alan. Like we're kids being told to stay in the yard. Alan looked up from his computer. But why are they so scared of us? That's what I can't figure out. President Wilson called them at midnight. His voice sounded tired. The alien has agreed to show us proof of what he's talking about. He's bringing data about the other species in this Concord. I want you two to lead our team studying it. Early, the next morning, Zexril returned. This time it brought a small silver box. The alien placed it on the table in the meeting room. This contains information about all 17 species in the galactic Concord, Zexril explained. Study it. Then, you will understand our concerns. The box opened with a soft hiss. Inside was what looked like a glass ball. When Alan touched it, the ball lit up and images appeared in the air above it. For the next week, a team of Earth's best scientists studied the alien data. They worked day and night, amazed by what they learned. Alan and Susan led the team. With them was Dr. Betty Harris, a biologist, and Steve Hall, a military analyst. They set up in a big room with screens covering the walls. This can't be right, Betty said on the third day. She was looking at measurements of alien body temperatures. According to this, none of these species can survive more than a 10-degree change in their environment. Humans can handle much more, said Steve, looking over her shoulder. Exactly. Betty pointed to more numbers. We can live in places from 50 to plus 150 degrees Celsius with basic clothing or shelter. These aliens would die. Steve moved to another screen. And look at this. Their reaction times are so slow. The fastest species takes almost a full second to respond to danger. A human does it in about 0.2 seconds. The discoveries kept coming. None of the alien species could heal from broken bones without medical help. None could go without food for more than a day. None could learn new skills quickly. They're like specialized animals, Betty said. Each species does one thing well, but can't adapt to new situations. On the 5th day, they found the most surprising. thing of all. None of them have ever had a war, Alan said, reading the history section. Not once in their entire histories. Susan frowned. That's impossible. Every human civilization has had conflicts. Not these aliens. Alan pointed to the data. When resources get low, they just wait. They slow down. Some even hibernate until things get better. No wonder they're scared of us, Steve said. We fight. We push limits. We change our environment instead of waiting for it to change back. By the end of the week, they had their report ready. President Wilson called a meeting with Zexril present. We've studied your data, Alan began, and we think we understand your concerns better now. He showed a chart on the big screen. This compares humans to the average conquered species. We can survive in environments that would kill you. We heal 5 times faster. We react 4 times quicker. We learn new skills 10 times faster. You are like nothing we have ever seen. Zexril's colors shifted rapidly. You are adaptable, Susan finished for the alien. That's our strength. We change to fit our situation. And that is what terrifies us, said Zexril. The galaxy works because each species has its place. Each has limits. You seem to have none. Betty stepped forward with another chart. But we're not stronger than many of your species. The Groks are 10 times stronger than us. The Vril can see in complete darkness. The Tren live for 500 years. Yes, said Zexril. Each has one advantage. Humans have many. And you use them all? Together. President Wilson had been listening quietly. Now he spoke. So you're saying we would destroy the balance if we joined your Concord? Not intentionally, the alien's translator hummed. But yes, you would change everything just by being yourselves. You would solve problems we've lived with for thousands of years. You would take risks no one else would. You would improve things. And that's bad? Asked the president. Change is dangerous. Zexril's colors turned deep blue. Some species might not survive the improvements. Some might lose their place. There would be disorder. Joe Davis had been invited to the meeting. Again, he raised his hand. But what if we could help? What if we could make things better for everyone? That is what all galaxy-changing species believe, said Zexril, that they know what is better for others. The room fell silent. The humans looked at each other, understanding for the first time how they appeared to the galaxy. Not as monsters, but as something perhaps more frightening, agents of unstoppable change. As the meeting ended, Linda Brown asked one last question. What happens if we agree to stay home, to never leave our solar system? Zexril's body seemed to relax slightly. Then the galaxy continues as it has for 50,000 years, in peace, in balance. And if we don't agree? Asked General Carter. The alien didn't answer directly. Some members of the Concord believe that preventative measures might be necessary. The threat hung in the air as Zexril left the room. Did an alien just threaten to destroy Earth? Steve whispered to Susan. I think, she replied. We just learned why making first contact is a lot more complicated than we ever imagined. The news about the alien's warning spread around the world. At first, many people didn't believe it. An alien telling humans to stay home? It sounded like a bad movie. But then Zexril agreed to appear on global TV. People saw the strange octopus-like creature with their own eyes. They heard its message. By that night, every person on Earth knew we were not alone, and the galaxy was afraid of us. President Wilson called for a special meeting of the United Nations. Leaders from every country came together to decide what to do. We have 3 choices, the president said to the packed room. 1, we agree to stay in our solar system forever. 2, we ignore the warning and build ships to explore the galaxy anyway. Or 3, we try to find a middle path. The debate was heated. Governor Mary Bell from California stood up first. We should respect their wishes. We have the whole solar system to explore. 8 planets, dozens of moons, that's plenty of space for now. The governor had a point. Humans hadn't even built a real colony on Mars yet. The solar system was huge and mostly empty. But Senator Ralph Adams disagreed strongly. No one tells humans where we can and can't go. This is just like when European kings tried to keep people from settling in America. We have a right to explore. Many people cheered at this. The idea of being told no made them want to do something. Even more, Dr. Betty Harris, who had studied the alien data, spoke next. This isn't about rights. It's about being good neighbors. These aliens are different from us. Change happens very slowly for them. Maybe we should respect that. Back and forth the arguments went. Some wanted to build huge warships to show the aliens humans weren't afraid. Others wanted to stay home and focus on Earth's problems. Alan Wright had been listening quietly. Finally he stood up. I think we're missing something important, he said. The alien told us that some in the Concord want to take preventative measures against Earth. I think that means they're discussing whether to destroy us. The room went silent. We need more information, Alan continued. We need to know what's happening in the Concord right now before we decide anything. President Wilson nodded. Dr. Wright is right. Let's ask our guest for more details. But when they tried to contact Zexril, there was no answer. The alien ship in orbit wasn't responding to any messages. Susan Miller didn't like this. As a military commander, she knew that silence usually meant trouble. She called an emergency, meeting with Alan, Joe, Linda, and a few others she trusted. Something's wrong, she said. I think we need to find out what's going on up there. Joe looked nervous. You mean go to the alien ship? How would we even do that? Susan smiled. I'm a commander in the Space Force. I have a shuttle. 2 hours. Later, Susan's small team was approaching the alien ship. They wore spacesuits and carried no weapons. They didn't want to seem threatening. Hello, Ambassador Zexril. Susan called over the radio. We've come to continue our talks. No answer came from the ship. It just floated there, dark and quiet. I don't like this, Linda said. Something feels wrong. They docked with the alien ship carefully. The doors opened automatically. Inside they found Zexril floating in what looked like a control room. The alien's skin was pale gray instead of its usual bright colors. Ambassador? Alan moved closer. Are you okay? Zexril moved slowly. You should not be here. Its translator said in a weak voice. What's wrong? Asked Susan. I have failed, said the alien. The Concord has voted. They will not wait for your decision. They are coming. Joe felt a chill. Coming? Who's coming? The defense fleet. Zexril's colors flickered weakly. I told them humans could be reasoned with, that you would understand the need for balance, but the fear was too strong. Susan moved closer to the alien. What are you saying? That they're sending ships to attack Earth? Yes. I tried to stop them, but I am just one voice. Zexril's body seemed to shrink. I am sorry. I truly believed we could find a peaceful solution. Alan felt sick. How much time do we have? The fleet will arrive in 5 of your days, said the alien. They will sterilize your world, remove the threat of humanity before it spreads to the stars. 5 days? Linda gasped. What can we possibly do in 5 days? Zexril's skin changed to a deep blue. Nothing. Your weapons are no match for theirs. Your ships cannot escape this system. It is over. Susan wasn't having it. No, it's not over. We're humans. We don't give up. That, said Zexril sadly, is exactly why they fear you. They brought the alien back to Earth. It was very weak, apparently sick from stress. Earth's best doctors didn't know how to help a creature so different from anything on their world. As news of the coming attack spread, people reacted in different ways. Some panicked, some prayed, some prepared to fight, even knowing it was hopeless. President Wilson went on TV to address the world. Fellow citizens of Earth, he said, his face serious, but calm. We face the greatest challenge in human history. In 5 days, an alien fleet will arrive with the intention of destroying our world. They fear us not because of what we've done, but because of what we might do. Because we are different from them. He paused, looking straight into the camera. But being different is not a crime. Being adaptable is not wrong. Being human is not something we will apologize for. People around the world watched, holding their breath. We have 5 days, the president continued. 5 days to find a solution. 5 days to change the minds of beings who have never known change. 5 days to save Earth. Linda looked at Joe as they watched the speech. Do you think we can do it? In just 5 days? Joe thought about everything he'd learned about humans compared to the aliens. How quickly we solved problems. How we faced challenges head-on. If anyone in the galaxy can, he said, it's us. For 4 days, Earth worked together like never before. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and regular people all focused on one goal, finding a way to save humanity. Some worked on weapons, even knowing they probably wouldn't help. Others built deep bunkers, hoping some humans might survive the attack. But the smartest minds looked for a different answer. Alan Wright and Susan Miller led a team of the best thinkers from around the world. They worked day and night looking through the alien data, trying to find anything that might help. Fighting won't work, Alan said during a late-night meeting. Their ships are too advanced. Running won't work either, added Susan. They can track us anywhere in the solar system. Joe Davis, who had gone back to his job on the moon, called in with an idea. What if we don't fight and don't run? What if we show them we're not what they think we are? On the 5th day, as the alien fleet entered the solar system, Earth made its move. But it wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of warships or weapons, Earth sent a single message to the approaching fleet. The message contained a plan, a new idea, something no species in the Concorde had ever thought of before. The Earth called it the Integration Protocol. As the alien ships came closer, President Wilson stood ready with the team that created the plan. They waited nervously to see if their idea would work, or if these would be humanity's final hours. The alien fleet's commander, Admiral Kikshi of the Tren species, appeared on their screens. It looked like a tall, thin lizard with 4 arms. Humans, it said through a translator. We have come to protect the galaxy from your kind. We understand your fears, President Wilson replied calmly. But we ask that you review our proposal before taking any action. The Admiral seemed surprised that the humans weren't begging or fighting. What proposal? The Integration Protocol, said Alan, stepping forward. A new way for humanity to join the galaxy without disrupting your balance. For an hour, the aliens studied the human plan. The Earth team waited, hardly breathing. The Integration Protocol was simple but clever. Humans would enter space slowly in small groups. Each human would be trained in alien customs and ways. Humans would share their ideas, but only after the conquered approved them. There would be rules and limits that both sides would follow. Most importantly, the protocol created a new role for humans in the galaxy. Problem solvers who would only work on issues the conquered wanted help with. Humans would be like special helpers, using their unique skills only when asked. Finally, Admiral Kikshi spoke again. This is unexpected. No species has ever suggested such a compromise. That's what humans do, said Susan. We find new solutions to old problems. The protocol has possibilities, the Admiral admitted. But how can we trust you to follow it? Zexril, who had been quietly watching, spoke up. Because they created it in 5 days when faced with extinction. They didn't choose to fight when fighting would fail. They adapted. They solved the problem in a new way. That is their nature. The Orcs alien fleet didn't leave right away. They stayed for weeks, working out details of the protocol with Earth's leaders. There were arguments and hard feelings on both sides, but slowly, a real plan took shape. 6 months later, the first human ship left for Alpha Centauri under the new rules. Aboard was Alan Wright, now Earth's first ambassador to the stars. As his ship prepared to make its first faster-than-light jump, Alan sent one last message home. Today marks a new chapter for humanity. We don't go to the stars as conquerors or disruptors, but as problem solvers. The very things that frightened the galaxy are the gifts we bring to it. That is the human spirit. Earth had done what it always did when faced with the impossible. It found a way forward. It adapted. It survived, and the galaxy would never be the same again.